Hey there, planners. Today I am going to be talking about goals and goal setting and some of the very simple steps that I take that are helping me be successful in my goals this year. Hopefully you can use them too. While I do that, I'm also going to be checking out this brand new product for me called the Goal Guide from Mary Kate at Magic Mindset. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. So a couple weeks ago, Mary Kate at Magic Mindset reached out and asked if I wanted to check out the Goal Guide for 2025. And I was very intrigued because, as you guys know, I love goal setting. I have used a lot of different tools in the past. I'm always looking for new ways, creative ways to accomplish goals. And I think that you can take parts and pieces of various systems or take a whole system as is, whatever works for you, to help you accomplish your goals, just whatever tools are going to work. And I'm going to have information about this goal guide, where you can get it, where you can learn more on the Magic Mindset website listed down below. So definitely go check that out as we are flipping through this. I'm excited to talk about some of the ways I'm seeing just small things help me and work for me this year so far in 2025 when it comes to goal setting. And I really want to do that as I walk through this goal guide, because this is really a beautiful product, a beautiful planner. First of all, let's just talk about the outside of the goal guide. It is a big girl. It is a big planner and goal guide. I could see this being a very good thing that sits on your desk and doesn't move around a lot. It looks to be about a 7x9 or 7x10, very comparable to like a Erin Condren 18-month planner. It does have the really large spiral bound, book bound, but the construction is nice and it's really, really pretty. I mean, this is a really unique design. It's really pretty, gold foiling on the outside. So very nice product. So the thing that I like about this is it's more than just goal planning. It's more than just planning. As we get into it, you're going to see that you've got planning pages, tracking pages, journaling pages, notes pages, monthly, yearly, weekly, just habit trackers, various worksheets and tools. Like, this thing is just packed with goodness that you can use. And again, I'm a big fan of taking what works and trying new things. And so I was super excited to get this product. All right, let's get into it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, as I flip through, I'm going to talk a little bit about things that I have been doing this year that have really been working for me. Isn't this a nice little bookmark? So cute, so you could keep up with where you are. The design is impeccable here. It says designed in South Florida. So this is a product created in sunny Florida. Okay, I do appreciate in the beginning of this planner, I'm not going to read through all of this, but lots and lots of instructions and hints and walkthroughs of how to actually use it. You can get more information and support. The design and the color scheme are absolutely gorgeous. I really love it. I love this part that actually walks you through exactly what to expect when you get into the planner. Look at these big old tabs over here. Isn't that so, like, these are very hardy, laminated, thick cardboard, but I just think they're so pretty. The color schemes are really pretty in this planner. Okay, so you've got some of these pages too. Like, I just think this would be fantastic for a vision board. I actually have not done a vision board this year, which is a little unusual. I did like a family collage that I'm using in some of my notebooks and planners. I just make it on Canva and print it out, but I really haven't done a vision board this year, and I'm starting to think that maybe I need to do one. I feel like I've had a little bit of a tough time getting started because I did have so much change and fluctuation in what I thought was going to be my priority goals this year, and then what actually ended up being my priority goals. I'll talk a little bit more about that in terms of flexibility, but I haven't done a vision board. I think I probably need to, and this would be like a great space. You could do it in the cover of your planner, or if you have like this, like the goal guide, could do it here. Just some something that when you look at it, it triggers and inspires you, reminds you of that visual reminder of what you're trying to accomplish. I think that is such a great tool in the toolbox of goals. So it's not the thing that is going to keep you, from failing at all, but it is one tool that you can use in the toolbox. And that's one of probably my biggest tips when it comes to goal setting is give yourself as many tools as possible for success. Pack your toolbox full of all the tools that you can get your hands on for success. Okay, this is a year ahead calendar. It goes from January 2025 to June of 2026. So you're getting 18 months look ahead, which is really nice to be able to plan out in the future. It is a Sunday start calendar as you look at this. So really, really nice to be able to see all of this. You could use this for tracking. I love these pages for tracking. And while I have struggled for years and years with tracking, I feel like 2025 is my year of tracking. Something about actually taking the time to track results on a daily basis is really helping me stay motivated in my goals. So for example, I am having I set for myself some movement goals. So on a weekly basis, I want to be in some moderate activity, at least 150 minutes a week, or 75 vigorous. And these these are pretty standard guidelines. In order to do that, I am actually tracking in my planner when I am moving at least 20 minutes and getting to that, zone 2 heart rate. I'm tracking that in my planner every time I'm moving at least 20 minutes a day. And that is so motivating. Like, it really, of course, you need rest days, you need chill days, and I give myself those without any guilt at all. But to be able to see and track and hit that goal number of 150 and really see it visually in a space like this where you're, coloring in or marking through, that is extremely motivating. So one tip for your goal planning this year, if you are finding yourself sort of struggling to get started, think about how you could take your goal and break it down into just tiny daily things that you can do and track. What could be tracked? And it doesn't mean that you're accomplishing the goal in a single day, but just something small that you could do. And a space like this from the Magic Mindset Goal Guide, perfect space to do that in. Okay, then you have some sort of a 12 box free space. So you've got kind of like 12 boxes, if you think about each one of these as boxes, where you can list out something at the top line and then dates for that. Now, it could very easily translate into January, February, March, April, May, June, the months, the 12 months of the year, and then you just list like birthdays or anniversaries or holidays. I have also used a page like this from an Erin Condren planner to set sort of a bucket list items, things that I wanted to do in the season that I was in. So it was summer, and I called it my summer bucket list, or my not bummer summer list, if you guys know Junie Moody. And I just would say, okay, for adventures, ride a roller coaster, or hike a new trail, things like that. So that's another way to use this. You could also do projects in different areas, so craft projects, house projects, or if you have projects, the tasks that you need to do. So there's just like a gazillion ways that you could use this. You can also think of this in terms of quarters, because you've got 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say this is quarter 1. This would be goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. You could list out some of the key activities. They're just all kinds of things you could do. This could be goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, goal 4, goal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's just all kinds of things that you could do with this space. So I really love this space for really mapping out the year ahead. Okay, Then you've got a great place, and this is such a great reminder when it comes to goal setting. So, I talked about tracking, right? That really functional, sort of daily grind type activity. This is on the opposite spectrum in my mind from that side of goal setting. This is a place where it says, "Dear," and then you put your name in there, and you write a letter from where you want to be 1 year from today. So if you accomplished your goals for the year, what would you say to yourself now at the beginning of that journey? So you put yourself in the future and you write this letter back to yourself in the present to motivate you, having already accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish for the year. And what I love about this is it engages that creative side of your brain. Goal setting, for me at least, can end up being this very tactical, emotionless sort of, can I check the box or not? Did I move the needle today? That type of activity. I love this space because it engages my creativity and reminds me that I'm chasing a dream. Something that I dream that I can be or do, somehow be different in the future. Like I'm imagining that, and then I'm chasing it. And yes, that does involve that daily grind, but it starts with a dream. And I just love this. And I think it's so fun when I've done this in the past, or, activities like this. It has been so fun to look back on it. So I love that this page is included here. And I would encourage you, it's not too late. I mean, yes, it is, a couple months into 2025. If you're watching this video in the third quarter or in the last month or the first month or whenever you're watching this video, it's not too late to pause and step back and do a little bit of dreaming about the future, because it's not a fruitless activity. It's not superfluous. You are engaging the creative side of your brain, and that creative side of your brain has great ideas and brings something to the table that adds to the mix when it comes to goal setting. Another way I've used an activity similar to this is at work with teams that I have led in the past. I have asked them, as we are thinking about goals for the year ahead, I've asked them to put themselves at the end of the year. We've accomplished the goals. What does it feel like? Let's write down, what we're thankful for, what we learned, what were the key lessons, how did we get there, like write it down and get them to even break out of that, sort of goal crushing, metrics, all of that sort of mentality, and tap into that creativity. It really can be a very powerful tool. So I love seeing that in here. Okay. So that's a great inclusion, and you've got a whole nother page to keep going. Okay, now we get into the months. So each month has a divider page, which is really beautiful. You can do all kinds of things with this divider page. You can put photos here. You could write out some things. You could list, put sticky notes on it. You could do all kinds of things with the dashboard. The month is set up really cleanly. I think this is such a clean design for the monthly calendars. It's a Sunday start calendar. The boxes are pretty good size, so really nicely laid out. You've got a notes section. You could use this for all kinds of things. One of the keys that I have really been tapping into, and I've always done this, but I think I'm using it even more this year when it comes to my goal setting, is to really spend time looking at what time I have available. And this is really helping me be more realistic with what I can accomplish in the space of goals. So the first thing I do is I zero out any time that I am working, right? Because when I am working, unless my goal is related to work, I'm not going to be spending time when I'm working focusing on other goals. And so that's time I can just take right off the table. And then another example is my daughter has volleyball tournaments, a lot of weekends in the first few months of the year. So that's a lot of travel. It does leave some time that I could between games and some downtime, but a lot of time is, traveling and sort of being focused and engaged and in the moment with her and the volleyball activities. So I take those right out. I really have to be realistic and look at what time I have available and what time that can I actually devote to the goals that I want to accomplish for the month. Doing this first, really filling up the calendar with everything that's going on, everything that will take my time and are non-negotiable, helps me look at realistically what time do I have left. So if I need a full day to accomplish some activities related to my goal, I have to find the space on the calendar for that and schedule it. And that's the second part is I treat my goal activities this year as items that have to be scheduled just like the other items. Because if I don't do that, then I will forget about it, I will delay it, I will put it off because it's not real. It doesn't, if it's not, for me, if it's not living in my calendar, and your calendar can be paper like this, it can be your phone, calendar app, it can be lots of different things. Your laptop, like wherever your schedule lives. For me, if my goal activity is not on there and scheduled, then it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I've really taken that very seriously this year. And that has resulted in two things for me so far. One, I'm accomplishing less than I set out to. I had some big, ambitious goals this year. Big, really big. And I'm not accomplishing as much as I thought I would. But I'm okay with that because it's very realistic. I'm being very realistic about what I can accomplish because I'm spending the time to really map it out and schedule it. Now, of course, you got to be flexible. Things happen. If I've got something scheduled on a Saturday and it ends up being snowy and I can't go anywhere, be flexible, move things around. But taking your goals seriously and scheduling them will possibly result in you accomplishing less than you thought you would. But I find that I'm okay with that because at least I know I'm being real with myself. The other thing it's doing is it is helping me focus more on the activities that are absolutely critical. So knowing that I have less time, I'm really getting down to what matters most. And I think that is helping me move the ball more in the different areas that I have goals than if I was just kind of, doing it here and there. And I just am getting a lot more done with the time that I have scheduled. So love this layout. And this is definitely really looking at the month overall picture has really helped me plan, schedule, and communicate with others, my family, like this time is devoted to me doing, this work on my goal or whatever it is. So, all right. You've got a notes page, which, gosh, this could be so many things. I am a huge fan of brain dumping, getting it all out. I use trigger lists, like task trigger list, that help me think of all the things that are in my mind that I want to get out. I have a lot of videos on this, and I'll leave a couple of links down below if you're interested. But clearing your mind of the backlog of things that are weighing there and sort of swirling and keeping you up at night and, popping out now and then. Oh, don't forget. Clearing your mind of that and knowing that it's safely stored in a space really frees me up for the next, moving on and prioritizing and getting the actual things done. Okay, this page gives all kinds of Erin Condren Life Planner dashboard vibes, or Happy Planner dashboard vibes, and I love it. I love this type of page. I love coming up with how I want to use each section. I love switching it up when, from month to month, doing this, using each section this way this month and then switching it up. This is probably so faint you can't see it, but there is a very faint dot grid here, which immediately, this is a goal guide. This makes me think tracking, tracking on a monthly basis, which I am loving. I think I showed you all, I have been dabbling in various ways to track health-related items for the past couple weeks. Couple times I've updated my planner for the past month or two. And this is a great space to do that kind of thing. List out what you want to track here or down here, list out the weeks, do yourself, sleep, all of that stuff. This is a really great space for that. You've got some maybe top priorities here. I mean, there's just so many different ways to use a page like this. Sometimes I will get in like paralysis trying to figure out how to use the page, but I have found that you do whatever this month, knowing that next month you can change it. So this is a great page. Lots of freedom there. Okay, here are some really interesting resources specific to this goal guide that I've not necessarily, I mean, you might find some parts and pieces, but I think this is really unique to this planner. So you've got a place to list out your goals for the month here. And then you've got this place to give a believability scale number, like assign believability to it. And I struggled with like, what is that? But then there's this great explanation back here in the beginning of the planner where Mary Kate actually talks about, so if you put a 1 down, so between 1 and 10 is your believability scale. If you put a 1 down, that means that you don't really believe that accomplishing that goal is possible. If you put a 10 down, it's not even a question. Like, it's happening. That is happening. And then you want to be very honest with that. And then the next step, I think, is what is so really powerful. Then you're going to go through and you're going to describe where does that score come from. So let's say, for example, I put down for this month, I want to write the first rough draft chapter of my book. Now, I'm not writing a book. I'm not an author. But let's just say, for imagination's sake, that I was. And this month, I write down, my goal for the month is to write the first rough draft chapter of my book. And when I come over to give a believability scale, I say, I'm going to assign that a 2. Okay. That's how I really don't think that's going to happen this month, but I really want to. It's a goal. I'm going to try for it, but I really don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to give it a 2. Now I come down here and I have to answer to myself only, which is powerful. Why do I give that a 2? So I might start, and you'll see there's some journaling pages, which I love because I could totally see kind of free writing about this, right? I might say, well, I don't really have the time. I've got a lot going on this month. I'm not an author. I don't think I have the skills. Like, all of the answers that I would give to that believability scale could reveal to me things that I need to adjust, bad thinking, like wrong thinking, or things that I'm telling myself that I need to correct. Or if my number is very high, maybe it reveals to me some risk, like overconfidence risk, or maybe it reveals to me that this is really not a goal. Like, it's just something I need to go do. It's just a task. So I just think this is so powerful. And this is not a tool that I have used in my goal planning, but I can see the power of it. And I definitely want to carry this. I want to use this method, this believability scale number. This could be really powerful. Tell me what you guys think. Can you see the possibility in using a believability scale? Do you think you could find yourself, really digging into why you feel a certain way? So I see some power in that. That's an awesome feature. Okay, and then you have, before you get into the actual weeks, you have a January focus. You're going to pick one word, feeling for the month. Now, here's another thing that, I have always used a word of the year. Word of the year is something that I spend a lot of time in prayer about. I search scripture. This is all leading up to the year ahead. I search scriptures, and it's really sort of like my mantra or the theme of my year and really sets the tone for what I'm going to do that year. And it's very, for me, it's very spiritual. It's, it's really rooted in God's word and, kind of what I'm being led or called to do with my time in the year. This really, I see this as breaking that down one more time to the monthly level. So setting a word for the month, this says a word, your one word feeling for the month, but it could be focus for the month. It could be anything. What is your word for the month? Creating a list of affirmations that create that feeling for me, and then actions that you can take to create that feeling. So I love this. This is really set, like narrowing in that focus for the month. All right, so for example, my word of the year is anchor. Maybe for the month of January, my word for the month of January is foundation. So, January for me is always a month that I kind of put the project plans together, set that foundation to accomplish the goals that I have for the year. That's kind of how I could see this working, and I could see it being very powerful as you go through the year and really translate, that focus area for each year. So again, this is a tool that I have not been using, but I really, really like it, and I think it could be powerful in my goal setting. All right. You've got some space to journal about that or add in other details or put something totally different. I love all of the notes pages. A lot of times with pre-printed planners, I struggle with not having enough notes pages, but I feel like there are a lot of notes pages within each month and even before the month. There's a lot of notes pages that give you additional options of ways to use it. Okay, you've got a monthly meditation or habit tracker. So I'm not really a meditator. I'm a prayer. And I have lots of habits that I'm trying to track. So I love that this is in there. This says how I felt, but really you've got a ton of flexibility. Put your goal, put your start date, and you've got a ton of flexibility for how you use this. You've even got some extra space here. So there's a lot of room to do different things with this, and tracking has been so powerful for me. Really thinking about how I can take that yearly goal, which breaks down to a quarterly goal, which breaks down to a monthly goal. And the part that I have been missing in the past that I feel like I am really getting my arms around this year is taking that monthly goal into tracking, whether it's weekly or daily habit tracking. Like, what is the smallest breakdown that's going to move me towards my goal? I'm having really good success with that this year so far. All right, then you get into your weekly setup. So there's so many things to love about this weekly setup. I love that you've got the mini calendar. It's really hard for me to function in a weekly setup without a view of the month. I just need to see those together, and I will, if I have planners that have the weekly only, I will draw in the monthly. So the fact that it's already there, awesome. You've got an affirmation for the week. If you're not into affirmations, you could totally cover this up and do something else with this space. This is a great space right here. Could be decor, could be something functional, could be a tracker, all kinds of things you could do with that. You've got each of your days with lines, maybe for goals, for to-dos, for whatever you need, and then you've got an actual to-do list here. And that's the layout for the weeks. I think it's clean. I think the colors are great. I think there's good space to be able to write out what you want to accomplish for the week. Love it. And it's dated, so absolutely love it. Nice, very nice. Now, let's talk about end of month. This is an area that I have not been very good at. Of course, I've only had two opportunities. I'm at the end of February as I'm actually filming this. So I'm coming up on the next opportunity to try to get this right. I'm going to take some inspiration from this. The wrap up at the end of the month. It's so easy. The reflection time when you get to the end of a period, whether it be a week or a month or a quarter or the year, Those are so easy to just brush off, but I think they are so critical because you're doing all these things. You're pouring yourself into all these activities through the month. And then you get to the end of the month and without a pause, you just flip right over to the next month and keep going. But the pause is meant to help you make changes if you need to, or adjust if you need to. Really think about what is worth my time and what is not worth my time. And I think that is so important. And I love the way this planner has space for that and the way it's set up. All right, so let's look at what is actually included in this January check-in or monthly check-in, because this shows up at the end of each month. What we have here is, I love the title of it, Notice Your Progress. And that's exactly what a check-in should be. Noticing your progress, also checking in with how you can make more progress next month. So the first question is your goal and believability scale at the beginning of the month. So you're rewriting that here. And then your believability scale at the end of the month. And this is such an interesting little comparison that you're doing for yourself, because you've got your believability scale here compared to now how do you feel? If you've made progress in the month on this goal, then your believability scale number should be going up. If you didn't make progress, then maybe your believability scale is going down. Either way, any changes that you see, or if it didn't change at all, that's also telling you something. And there's a section down here for you to talk about what changed, what remained the same, and why. And then, of course, you've got your journaling pages there. So this is such a unique setup for reflection. You're really thinking about how your progress this month, or lack of progress, or staticness in that goal, how is that impacting your future outlook of the goal? It gives you an opportunity to say, I'm making great progress and I believe in myself more. I believe in my ability to accomplish this to even greater scale. Or, I thought this was going to be easy and it's actually harder than I thought it was going to be. And so I need to really rethink like how I'm approaching this. Or, I made no progress on this goal. So is this even important to me? And if so, what do I need to do differently next month? Just this very simple setup here really prompts you to do all the right diving. And I've seen monthly reflections be far more complicated than this and not as effective. So this is a really great page. And then that brings you right into the next month. The page, I haven't talked about the paper quality. She's thick. That's part of the reason why this planner is so thick, is because the paper, this feels like cardstock. Every page feels like cardstock. So you're going to be able to pretty much throw any medium that you want to on this. Like, I think you might even be able to use I don't know. You can use a lot of different pens and markers on this, and you are not going to have a problem with bleed through because the paper is thick. Okay, when we get to the end of the year, so this is December, there's your check-in, your December check-in, and then you have a good number of notes pages back here, like 10 note pages back here. So that's plenty of room to do some of your, most reference information, contact information, goals breakdown, like more details on your goals, plenty of room to do that type of stuff here. And then you do have this 2025 dates to remember, like notable date. And then that's the end of the planner. So I hope you enjoyed the flip through and just the conversation around goals. I really would love to hear from you all. How are goals going this year? Are you struggling? Are you making progress? What are the tools that are working for you? Like I talked about, just by flipping through this Magic Mindset Goal Guide, I talked about some of the goals that are working for me. I would love to hear how your goals are working. If you are interested in this planner, I'm going to have all the information listed down below in the description box about it, so definitely go check that out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give this video a thumbs up if you did to let me know. Let's keep the conversation going down in the comments below. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.